Maybe you're not indecisive. Maybe your system for making decisions just doesn't exist yet. Guys, think about this. How many decisions did you make today before you even sat down to work? What to wear, what to eat, which task to start with? As an overthinker myself, I know what it feels like being in a state of mental loop of analysis paralysis, and it drains daily energy, ruins sleep, and creates anxiety. And that is not a motivation problem. It's a missing system that can be built with just four critical components. And in the next 5 minutes, I am going to give you a system that takes any decision from spiral to solved. And it works whether you're picking a lunch or you're picking a career path so that you can start sleeping well at night. As an information systems business analyst, in my world, when a process keeps breaking down, we don't blame the person running it. We look at the process, we look at the system. You may be thinking maybe you're lazy, but you are not. You are not indecisive either. You are not even broken. You are just running decisions without a system. And even if you had, maybe it's missing critical components. And your brain, being the brilliant machine it is, just keeps cycling because it doesn't have the signal that says, we're done here. And it's like playing a YouTube video where you leave it to keep playing and never exit. So YouTube will just continue looping videos for you non-stop until you pick up your remote and click stop. So, what are these components? Let's get into it. Element number one is your observable outcome. And this means before you start deciding, you need to know what decided looks like in reality. So let's say you're trying to decide on a workout routine. You probably will say decide on a workout, and that is not an observable outcome. That is just a wish. Now, if you say choose a 20-minute YouTube workout to do tomorrow morning, now that is an observable outcome because it has a verb and it has a noun, and you can see when it is done. Here's what happens, guys. When your brain doesn't have a finish line, it just keeps running. Should I do yoga? Should I do maybe Pilates? Your brain spirals because the question is too vague. So you need to reduce, shrink the decision, streamline your decision to something you can see completed, and the spiral loses its fuel. Element number two is one decision owner. And I don't just mean at work, I mean in your personal life too. How many times have you stalled on a decision because you were waiting for someone else's input? Your partner, your mom, your friend, the group chats. Guys, I'm actually sitting on this table myself. Now, every person added to a decision adds another loop of overthinking. And if it is a decision about your schedule, your routine, your boundaries, pretty much about you as a whole, you are the owner of that decision. Then make the call, because if everyone is responsible to make that call, no one is responsible at the end of the day. And it becomes a high school project, and we all know how that goes. It never gets completed. Element number three is one committed deadline. This one is a game changer. You know what the most dangerous phrase is in decision making? I'll figure it out later. Guys, later is not a deadline. Later is a loop. So you need to pick a date and a time and tell yourself, I will decide on this particular thing by Thursday at 12 p.m. Write it down and make it real. Now, if you're someone who struggles with deadlines, and honestly, who doesn't? Here is a gentler version. Use a queue system. Don't work on three decisions at once. Just line them up. Decide one thing at a time. And when that is done, decide the next one. The flow of the queue kind of becomes your deadline because you are not working according to the list that you have. The key here is commitment. When you set a deadline or a queue, treat it like it is sacred, because the more you honor it, the more your brain trusts the system. And the more your brain trusts the system, the less it spirals. Element number four is one sitting. A one sitting is how long you can focus uninterrupted on one thing. So if you're a mom with a toddler at home, that might be 10 to 15 minutes of focus for you. If you work in an office, maybe 30 minutes. The sweet spot across most people is about 20 minutes. Now, here is a refrain. If a decision takes more than one sitting, it is not one decision anymore. It is a decision project. And just like a project, you need to break it down into actionable steps. If you want to decide on a school for your kid, That is a decision project. It may actually be 5 smaller decisions at the end of the day because you may have to research, then narrow down to 3, visit 1, compare, choose. And when you break it down into sitting-sized decisions, the overwhelm kind of evaporates. Now, because you're no longer facing a mountain, you're facing a step, and you can always take one step at a time. Guys, let's go through the system flow and see how it all connects. We are going to start. You want to make a decision. The first thing you want to know is to ask, is this actually a decision or just a wish? Now, if it is a decision, you say yes. And if it's yes, you move on to the next phase of making your decision. Are all elements clear? So you want to go through all of these elements right here. Does your decision have an outcome? Does it have an owner? And does it have a deadline? And can you make that decision in one sitting? Now, if all of your answers here are yes, then you go ahead and make your decision. And then it is all done. Now, when you ask yourself the questions here, are all elements clear? If your answer is no, then that means something is missing. Then you want to go through all of this, fix what is missing, then rerun this whole system and make your decision. So now, if you're going through all the elements and then you get to this place, can you make that decision in one sitting? If you cannot make the decision in one sitting and your answer is no, then that decision is a decision project. And you have to treat it as a project by breaking it down into achievable steps so that each step becomes a decision, but a micro decision. Then you start treating each step as a decision. You're going to rerun this whole system as a whole and start again. And this way, using this system, you can make decision over anything and almost everything. So I put this whole thing in a table for you. So please take a screenshot of it. This is a 4-column table. You have the element, you have what it means to actually have that element. And if the element is missing, then what it means that you actually have. Elements number 1, the observable outcome. What it means is that you can see when it is done. Now, if it is missing, what that means is that you loop forever and it becomes a vague wish. Element number 2 is one owner. What that means is that one person makes the call. And if element number 2 is missing, then it becomes a group project. And what that means is that you actually have a committee. Element number 3 is one deadline. And what that means is that you have a committed date or queue. If this element is missing, that means you have I will decide later, which equals to you will never decide. And that means what you actually have is an open loop. Now, element number 4 is one sitting. And what that means is that you decide in one focus block. If it is missing, then it means you have a big decision project. Now, if your decision has all 4, it is a real decision and you have to make it and move on so that you can end it. Now, if it's missing the sitting element, it's a project. So you break it down. If it's missing any of the others, it's just an idea pretending to be a decision and you don't want to put it on your list until it is ready to become a decision. So guys, the next time you're spiraling on a decision, run it through these 4 elements: observable outcome, one owner, committed deadline, one sitting. And if all 4 are there, make your decision. If they are not, don't beat yourself about it. Just build the missing piece. It is not a character flaw. It is a design flaw. Guys, want to commit to using a system that consistently breaks things down for you, then you're going to find it in my Consistency OS mini course that doesn't take more than 10 minutes. There's a tool in there called a daily dashboard, which has a built-in micro commitment section, so you can break anything you want to do into micro commitments. If you're interested, join the waitlist. Please find the link in the description. My name is Dupe and this is Systems Based Life. Thank you so much guys for watching and I'm going to see you all in another one. Bye guys.